We forget that we could find those same answers within our own self. And these are two cards which help us do that. These cards imply a strong, capable, and a very resourceful mind. At the same time, they portray a soul that is receptive, intuitive, and capable of reading between the lines. The High Priestess represents a woman who is extremely willful, secretive, intuitive as a medium, capable of making quick and just decisions. She's a survivor but not an outcast. She's someone, she knows how to live within the boundaries of this so-called society. Not everyone is receptive and proactive. This card helps you to develop these traits. The Hermit does have the aura of isolation. However, this feeling of loneliness and detachment is important to find what is necessary and to make a wise choice. This is a card of wisdom, wisdom that is achieved through pain, suffering, and living one's life on the edge. At times, the choices implied by this card may not be socially acceptable or within the norms of society. Hermit implies a wise and a phlegmatic social outcast. There are times when we find help from people who are not respected in society. However, every soul on this planet has a predestined purpose and a journey. Every soul contributes in some way, whether willingly or unknowingly. What is important is to find a way when needed. Finding help when needed is not easy. Not everyone gets it, and people who help us deserve respect, irrespective of how society or others view them. If you are stuck up at the crossroads of life, when you do not know what needs to be done and the suffering does not seem to end, meditating on the Hermit card will help you overcome this chaos and will make you able enough to take a wise decision. To decide is not easy, especially when every choice or option that you have is lethal or has a huge price tag to pay. However, even in this mess, we have to choose so as to survive and to continue this journey of existence. A state of no action is something we cannot carry on for too long. There comes a time when we have to choose and take the final call. We cannot prolong it any further. How long can you stretch your resources and delay what seems inevitable? Placing this card on your desk, altar, or mantle, burning a dark blue, dark red, or dark purple candle, especially at sunset, is an effective way to ask for guidance from someone known for his wisdom, presence of mind, and his ability to decide, especially at a time when all doors have been closed in life. The best thing I would suggest is on any Tuesdays, Saturdays, or Fridays, especially at sunset time, try to burn a candle, a red, purple, blue, any dark shade of these colors. One single candle will do. Burn it at sunset, look at the sun which is setting, and just ensure that one of these cards is next to you. You'll need a tarot deck for that. You don't need to buy a book if you're short of money. You'll get the card meanings online, and just keep staring at the card. Obviously, you can't meditate if you're as restless as I am, or if you do not know what meditation is, because even I do not know what meditation is. But all I can suggest is just keep looking at the card and keep recalling the meaning that you've read about this card, and keep doing it every other day, every Tuesday, every Saturday, every Friday, and ask for those answers that you're looking for within yourselves. Ask the card for those answers. I'm not saying you'll get answers immediately or miracles will happen, but somewhere down the line the cards will give you something, because trust me, these cards are what they give you. These cards are very giving in nature. I've always taken everything from these cards and given nothing in return. I'm the one who's always taken everything from them. I'm sure even you will gain a lot. Yeah. This is Rohit Dua. If you've loved my article, if my rituals are of any use to you, or of any help to you, or help you in any way, I would be happy. Yeah. Any doubts, any queries, anything you wish to know, you're most welcome. God bless. That's okay. This is Rohit Dua, and I'm a tarot card reader. I'm going to read out one of my articles in this video. What I would request is watch the entire video till the end. Don't switch it. Don't switch it for some other video. You can watch other videos, but at least watch mine completely. Secondly, if you have any doubts, any feedbacks on my articles or any of my contents online which is published, do come back with feedbacks. You can send me an email, give me a call on my numbers, or send me a message, whatever works for you. And if you want to go for tarot reading, you're most welcome. But yes, if you've never got a tarot reading done, or if you do not know how a reading is done with me, you can always call and inquire. I mean, there's no harm. It's not going to cost you to ask, so you can always ask. Yes, a reading will cost something. Yeah, my charges are there. But how a reading is done and what all is needed, there's no charge in asking that. So you're always welcome. The title of this article is Tarot Cards and Health Issues, Part 1. Most of us suffer from some or the other health issue. It gets more common and chronic as we age. Aging is a natural process which is irreversible and no one can stop it. Youth is momentary and it has to go someday or the other. As long as it is there, we do not value what we have. Only once it is gone do we know how precious that phase was. Life can be so complex and immature that we crave for things which are not for us. Most of us brag that we want to follow our dreams. Whether those dreams are meant for us is a question we need to ask ourselves. Even if those dreams are meant for us, the price we may end up paying to achieve them is not going to be cheap. The way this world works, we only get things when there's no desire left in us to achieve them. Most of my articles and blogs reflect a pessimistic approach, and please do forgive me for the same. I have a soul which is pretty barren and bitter, which reflects in my work. I cannot stop myself even if I wish to. I have come too far to go back. My temperament and my habit of indulging in self-pity is a footprint. I end up leaving those marks, irrespective of how hard I try to conceal them. Health issues are a part of life, but the way we manage them brings a huge difference in controlling the damage. Not every issue or complication can be cured, but to sustain the quality of health is equally important. This is a grey area, extremely subjective and very relative. Honestly, I am not the right person to give advice on health issues because I am very careless with my own health. However, I would want to be a hypocrite and suggest people what I don't do myself. Superficial appearance does work at times, and I am going to indulge in that for this article or this blog and this video at this time, at least. To approach a fortune teller or any tarot reader should be the last resort when one goes through health readings, because health issues. Because honestly, for me, a health reading or for a tarot question or a health reading, a tarot reading for health issues is something that should be the last resort, or that's something that you do just to get an idea, or just that any information that you get from a tarot reading concerning your health issue should be at the back of your mind. That should not be the reason for you to make a certain choice or decision with respect to your life. I mean, I would never advise you to make a decision based on a reading. What I would advise you is to make a decision based on what your doctor tells you. To follow the suggestion or course of action as suggested by a doctor and going for a second opinion is extremely crucial and life-saving. To find a good doctor is not easy and the search is endless. Good doctors are expensive and appointments are not easy to get. There are also many external factors which influence the treatment. Your doctor's ego also plays an important role. To come across a doctor who is skilled in his craft and at the same time a humble soul is extremely rare and uncommon. I am yet to find one in my life. The way they talk to you or the manner in which they conduct treatment depends on your financial background and the kind of work that you do professionally. If you belong to a respected profession and have a sound financial background or position, then finding a good doctor who goes out of his way to help you is not going to be a rare or an uncommon experience. If you are like me, who lives on the edge when it comes to his financial situation or his work life, then only God can bless you. Even God may not be very generous with his blessings. When health gets chronic, work gets affected. When work is not stable, finances are constrained. It eventually ends up affecting the treatment we need. Good treatments are expensive and are needed when our health gets chronic, not when we are in a position to arrange for funds. When you get sick, you need the desired treatment at that very moment, irrespective of what your financial situation is. When you are not able to avail that treatment for reasons beyond your reach, you suffer the consequences for a very long time and at times for the rest of your life. Occasionally, the damages are beyond repair. No doctor can do what God has done when He created this race. Your body is a temple of your soul. Respect what you have got, even if it is not attractive or worth flaunting. Humans as a race are not very grateful. We find faults in what we get and crave for something we do not deserve. My health issues have made me learn a lot in life. They have also made me experience a few unusual or eccentric experiences, with motives which would portray me as a weird soul to the outside world. I'm not ashamed of my soul in any way. If I have to beg on the street or live as a sex worker, I would still be very proud of myself, and I'm being very honest on that. Our God and our own destiny or karma has given us the life to live, and not the people around us or who pretend to be our so-called well-wishers. I have not been blessed with a sense of art or the ability to understand aesthetics. The desire to find happiness in visuals, colors, or the other mediums of creative art has never been invoked within my soul. Maybe I'm not deserving enough to understand something so sacred or divine. For me, an artistic soul is an entity who does not understand or value money, nor does he acknowledge the constraints of society. All he knows is how to ignite those emotions, which are passionate and volatile, yet capable enough to find peace in this medium or this indulgence, what you call as art. I'm sorry, I'm not blessed with an artistic soul, and sometimes I thank God for the same. It is not easy to survive in this world if you are blessed with a soul like that. Every day is a struggle, and compromises or sacrifices become a necessity and not a choice. Now, why am I discussing art and creativity in this article or blog or this video of mine? I've started watching theatre plays and dance recitals of late for purely selfish reasons. When I see those immensely hard-working souls bring a rhythm and a symmetry in this physical form, I end up observing their supple, dexterous feet and well-toned legs. My own disability leaves me with no other choice but to observe these things first. When I'm seeing these gorgeous and supple feet, as long as the dance is being performed on stage, I end up indulging in some kind of foolish wishful thinking. So I end up believing that those feet and legs belong to me. What I don't have is what I try to achieve by seeing someone else enjoy it. Forgive me if I sound disgusting, but we all need to find a way to fill that vacuum within, even if it is for temporary duration. The world of creative arts does give us a privilege. When it comes to visual arts or drama, it gives us the privilege to run away from reality and assume what cannot be transformed into reality. One of the most painful tarot cards in any health reading is the Hangman card. This is a major arcana card and is ruled by the planet Neptune. Now, this is the Hangman card. I'm using a Morgan Gree tarot deck, Morgan Gree, and it's one of the most beautiful decks I've come across. It's very in-depth, it's very gorgeous, and I just love the deck. I love many other decks. If you read my articles, you'll come across the other decks I've loved in my life. There's some very beautiful decks out in the market, and some very beautiful ones. Do check them out. But this is the Hangman card. It's a card which is ruled by Neptune, the planet Neptune. This is one card which is not a good card in any reading when it comes. So firstly, because it usually implies a situation which is like a sinking sand. It implies addictions, suffering, financial issues which make the suffering more chronic. And this is one card where, when it comes up in a reading, we end up trusting people who are not worthy of that trust, who end up stabbing us on the back, and who end up digging our grave. This is a card, this is a major arcana card and ruled by the planet Neptune. It's a very complex and a chronic card. Problems in life, once they start, don't end so easily or early, and at times go on for years, or they never end. In the same manner, this card implies or brings health issues which are never ending. In the presence of this card, there is a high probability that the root cause of the health issue is an addiction which is very difficult to give up, and one would prefer to suffer instead. To cure the addiction is impossible because the person has no intention to give up the vice, and to find the correct or appropriate diagnosis is another obstacle, which may not be easy to overcome. When this card comes up, and even if you go through multiple doctors, your illness may be far from being detected. With this card, you also don't find good doctors or the right ones who are capable enough to heal you. Source of income also becomes an issue, which is why money is a constraint. The people that come in your life take advantage of the situation, and this includes blood relatives as well. What you're left with is swords hanging on all sides and every door being closed. In all this mess, if your sick body does not get the treatment and care which is needed, it only aggravates the illness. Even if the hangman card is reversed, the situation does not change much. However, the individual awareness level is high when the card is reversed. So you don't keep false hopes and are more realistic in your approach. If you are grounded and receptive, you are far more capable in handling the situation. This helps in controlling the damage. Major arcana card, like the death card in a health reading, is a card of strong and extreme situations. Death is a card which is ruled by the planet Pluto and the zodiac Scorpio. This is an extreme card, but this is not always a very bad card in a health reading. Honestly, it's a card which actually implies a survivor. It implies a man or a woman who will be able to survive through the illness, irrespective of how chronic or lethal that illness is. Death card in a health reading is a card of strong and extreme situations, which may not always be chronic, but this card implies a need to go beyond the conventional, a need to push your limits even if that makes you an outcast. There are times in life when we need to swim against the current even if we wish to achieve the same materialistic success which others want to achieve. This card implies a strong intuition, a receptive soul, and an ability to make wise choices even in the most trying circumstances. Getting the right and correct diagnosis is not much of an issue with this card, since at some point or the other you will come to know the exact illness. This is a card ruled by the planet Pluto, so the illness may not be curable, but that does not affect the ability to survive. I may sound foolish, but this card makes the impossible much possible. Even with the most chronic and lethal illness, the person may survive for a long time and may also live a regular life. With this card, the pain is unbearable, but the concerned person is stubborn and rigid enough to live with it. Some people are capable enough to survive through a lot of pain, and this card implies those few souls. It is not easy to live the way we do, but these are people who are blessed with a rebellious temperament and also a survival instinct. This is a card which makes you rise from your own ashes, and these are souls who are capable enough to do so. Our anger and our stubbornness can be a source of survival. It is the mode in which we use and channel our anger that makes the whole difference. I am still to discover this, and I'm not the right person to advise anyone how to do that. As I always say that you have to find your own way. I am still to discover this, and I am incapable to advise anyone about how to do this. I can only pray